Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand. Welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Thursday, April 17, 2025, after 3:15 p.m. Eastern. We'll be having a reverse aging health call and all the rest tomorrow night, Friday, after 9:15 p.m. Eastern. If you took a high-powered microscope and looked into the DNA, your DNA, inside every cell in your body, you would see that they all contain a sacred imprint that is unique to you, to that body. Remember, the God is not the body. The God inhabits the body to experience material physical life. We're talking about the organic body. So, in each quantum particle of your DNA is this wild and uncharted, magnificent, intelligent mystery within it. This mysterious intelligence is embedded within the foundation of your blood, bones, and brain. You cannot escape from it, no matter how hard you try. You want to make sure that you're relaxed in the body, in a comfortable position, no outside interference, still as a statue, focused on your breath, rising and falling. What's interesting is that the mind tends to take for granted this sacred mystery every day. And the mind has this tendency to create habits, fall into these little comfort zones of thought, safe emotional thought patterns. It finds ideas which label life, placing ourselves and others into the compartmentalized little thought boxes so we can feel more secure, self-assured, and somewhat organized, standing in the face of this wild, uncharted, infinite mystery that's surrounding us in all directions. Now, the moment we put anything in this divine existence into a thought box, we forget all about enjoying a state of devotion and worship to the divine mystery. The instant we forget about the great mystery of life, we initiate the suffering process. Every experience of life, this life, and thereafter becomes a challenge. As we live from the head and not from the heart, the mind is a master at continuously getting lost, believing all its inner thought structures are real. When our intellect holds tight onto fixed beliefs, it thinks life will feel more manageable, giving the illusion of control and the sensation that we are becoming wiser. Yet this hard-coded, know-it-all mindset demolishes our childlike curiosity and abolishes any form of reverence for this deeply sacred divine mystery. Curiosity has its own reason for existing. One cannot help but be in awe when we contemplate the mysteries of eternity, of life, of the marvelous structure of reality. It is enough if one tries merely to comprehend a little of this mystery every day. Never lose a holy curiosity. Mostly true from Albert Einstein. One of the greatest mysteries that any of us would probably ever discover in this life is the human psyche. Now, a lot of people don't address the human psyche. If you ask them, the simple question, do you know what the human psyche is? They would probably say, point at their head. Now, in reality, the human psyche is the accumulation of other people's thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions that we have adopted and inherited as our own. All these beliefs form the entire experience of ourselves, other people, this world, and our entire reality. The way we think, how we think, why we think this way and not that way is the core network of our psyche and makes us behave more like predictable machines than alive cosmic organisms. The human psyche, however, has a magical side to it, and that whatever we accept as the truth becomes what we actually manifest physically into our lives. That's real important to comprehend that, number one, and to not forget it. The human psyche, however, has a magical side to it, and that whatever we accept as the truth becomes what we actually manifest physically into our lives. This may be one of the most awesome mysteries mankind has to explore. Our foundational belief structure is so powerful, pervasive, and penetrating that it always manifests itself in every single possible outcome and experience that we have. This universe always supports whatever you believe. If deep down you believe you are not a lovable person, no lovable being, person isn't real, person is an impression. So you believe you are not a lovable being, this universe will constantly manifest for you the most challenging people, negative situations, and experiences that support this belief inside. If and when you truly believe you are lovable, this universe will slather your life with sweet, loving beings devoted to caring about you, honoring you, and caring for your needs in the most intimate, vulnerable ways. This intelligent universe, this universal energy, simply follows thought. Whatever you believe about you is where the energy flows and manifests into the entire show all around you. Why do you believe or think that media on this planet and information that we're all craving all the time, and the information presents something to us that we embrace and believe, right? So we manifest it into our lives. Now, how many of us really know this? Not many. Not many. So, but on the flip side, when you know this and you're aware of it, and then you're looking at something, and you say to yourself, now, if I were to believe this, it would change my life. For I would manifest it into my life, and then I would experience it. See, these are things that because we're in such a hurry, we're such in a hurry in life that we overlook. which is really dangerous to do. Because then what do we end up doing? We manifest things in our lives because we believe them, even if they're a lie. And even if they're not a lie, do you really want to manifest that into your life? Right? This is the questions we should be asking ourselves. This is part of what? Mastering our thoughts. A lot of us, what will happen with a lot of us is that without thinking, we focus a lot of energy on believing something, and we manifest it into our lives and we start to experience it. So, at one time there were pure evil controllers of this planet. And what they did is they convinced the civilization to believe in something that was a lie. But in doing that, it gave them power because it was manifested by the people of the planet into reality. If you can get a large group of people to believe something that's a lie, what do you think happens? Exactly. Now, our foundational belief structure is so powerful, pervasive, and penetrating that it will always manifest. It always manifests itself into every single possible outcome and experience we have. This universe always supports whatever we believe. And deep down, you believe you are not a lovable person. This universe will constantly manifest for you all these challenging people in negative situations. In this highly technological age, people these days tend to believe science easier than religion. If you can prove God is real in a lab, then it must be true. What's fascinating about this time frame in our lives is that the quantum physicists of this world have ventured so deep into particles that they have had to merge their scientific understanding with a spiritual context. See, their practical Newtonian vocabulary doesn't have the words to explain the outrageous results they are finding. They are having to use more spiritual words and concepts to bridge the understanding of these hard-coded scientific results. Interesting, isn't it? You discover many things. Like many of us will say, the technology that we have on this planet seems old. Even the new stuff that's being presented. Why is that? Why does it seem old? Because it is. It's really old. So why do we believe that it's new? Because we're told that it's new. Okay? We're told that it's new. Where should we be, technologically wise? We should be today, all of us. Had things not been, let's just say, how do you put it? Stagnated. Right today, you would be flying. You'd have a vehicle. You'd be flying in the air. It wouldn't be a big deal. Everybody that choose to do that would be doing it. You'd fly, and you'd have a flying vehicle. Many things wouldn't exist. Hospitals wouldn't exist. Today, right today. So what is our power? Even though this has been suppressed since the early 70s, the decision was made that the civilization is not going to have access to all these wonderful things. So the civilization experiences what? Well, radiation phones and all kinds of unhealthy things for the body, and then are told that, hey, this is new stuff. You gotta use it, buy it, use it, and it's not. So what do? We focus on things that we want, so that those things are manifested into our lives, so that we can enjoy them. Well, then, why is it that so many of us don't do that? Why is it that the majority of us don't do that? Well, number one, we don't believe it. We don't believe it. Okay? So you don't believe something, what are you going to do? Well, you're not going to manifest it. You're only going to manifest things that you believe. Isn't that interesting? So the good stuff, right? The real good stuff, that you're the power, that the God that you are while you're in that body is magnificently powerful. Use the body as a conduit to manifest things in the material physical world. Now you can't do that outside the body because you're a God, pure consciousness. But while you're in that body, it's miraculous the things we can do. Now we just don't believe that. Now if someone were to say to you, and let's say that you believe them, okay? You believe them. No one else has to believe them, but you believe them deeply. And then they say to you, you know that you can, in this very moment, manifest anything you care to manifest into your life. It doesn't matter what it is. How many people are going to say deeply that you're absolutely right, I'm going to do that now? They aren't, are they? They're not going to do that. Why aren't they going to do that? They don't believe it. The power of belief is phenomenal. It's a catalyst for us. This is why a lot of the things that are manifested that we experience as a people of planet Earth are the things that we manifest. Good, bad, or indifferent, doesn't matter. I've used the analogy, if you were raised, okay, when you were a child, and you were constantly told that you would never amount to anything, that you would never be any good at anything, that none of that would happen, and that's just wishful thinking, and get real, and get a real job, and all this stuff, right? Well, if you believe that, you believe it, it's exactly what will happen, because you'll manifest it. Now, if you were raised the opposite, saying you can do anything, there's no limitations. We have no limits, only the limits you put on yourself. So whatever you want, you can manifest it. That's great, but most of us don't know how, really, to manifest things. Well, how do you do it? That's why these meditations have been going. Now we're moving into the eighth year. We're headed to the 8th year of doing this. And you do the meditation to get in the habit of being in the now. Heart-mindedness. It's not complicated at all. You don't need to talk with a guru for 50 years in order to understand it or comprehend it. You get in a comfortable position. You have no outside distraction. You literally relax into your body. This is the only way the body's going to relax, is by you relaxing into it. You're as still as a statue, and you focus on your breath rising and falling. And in that now, that being, and silence. If you truly want to manifest something, you ask in detail on what you want, and you give it to the universe and you let it go. That's it. Spirit. Forget about it. You don't need to harp on it. Don't need to sit there and constantly conjure it. Try to conjure it. You just leave it alone. Why does it work that way? In ego mind, you will have doubt. You will have fear. You will have worry, and you'll have stress every single time that you want something, that you want to manifest something. Now, when you go heart-mindedness and meditation, you leave the ego mind alone, so it doesn't exist in the now. So it cannot influence you, so to speak. It will obviously try to pull you out of that. And then you just say to yourself, okay, I'm going to go into the now. I got tricked by the ego mind to go into the yesterday and tomorrow, so I'm going to go in the now. I'm going to go back into the now. Once you get in the habit of doing that, everything that you do manifest, everything that you want to manifest, in that moment, in that now, in heart-mindedness, in meditation, will manifest. You're kind of rolling the dice every time you do it in ego mind. And as I said several times, ego mind is not an enemy. It's not a bad thing. Ego mind is there for us to do what? Master. And unfortunately, nobody has done that on this planet. They have not mastered the ego mind. And, I'll have people say, well, then, we have to have the ego mind. It helps us with things. Sure it does. All right? But the ego mind is like training wheels. You'll get to a point where you know what the ego mind is. That's what its purpose, one of its main purposes is for you to discover what it is. What is it here for? Even though it's an illusion. Here to teach us. It teaches us how not to be. And that means greed stems from ego mind. Dishonesty stems from ego mind. Right? Hate stems from ego mind. Worry, stress, fear, anxiety stems from ego mind. That's where all that stuff comes from. Us protecting ourselves in conversation and debate comes from ego mind. We've got nothing to protect once you disrobe everything, because we're the pure consciousness, God in the body. And the body's temporary. And then we leave the body, and then we determine, are we going to take on another form? We will, because we don't just sit around and do nothing. You can't sit around and do nothing, because you're always doing something. The only way you could be not doing anything is that you as far as material physical body, you would have to leave the body. And then in material physical life, you wouldn't be doing anything because you left the body. But ego mind is not there for us to have it forever. Right? It motivates us in certain ways. It helps us in certain ways. But we got to master it, or we will destroy ourselves as a civilization. You cannot have ego mind front and center forever. And then when you go into the past, sometimes we go into the past to compare things. Well, I did this then, but see, here's the challenge. When you did that in the past, it was a different time. You were different. Everything around you was different. The people were different. The situation was different. This is why the past, when we say the past is dead, it's dead. Those things, you cannot go back, no matter how much you want to, because everything is constantly changing, because everything other than you, the God, is not real. It is illusion. We create this separation of illusion. The separation is the illusion. Why do we do that? So that each of us can learn in our own way. So we have that freedom and flexibility to do so. Because we're not robots. We're not drones. We're organic. And we experience everything. Breathing, laughing, crying, all of it. All the things we do. We experience them. And we like doing that. And the whole purpose of us setting this infrastructure up for ourselves is so that we learn, so we go to higher and higher levels of divine perfection, because we're the only thing that is real. It's true. We are the only thing that's real. The God within these bodies is the only thing that's real. Everything else is an illusion. So we go into material physical life, we create, don't we? Sure we do. We manifest things. We design our lives, even if we're unconsciously aware of it. Can we change our destiny? Absolutely. You really can do anything you want. It just depends on what is it that you do want. Most people don't know what they want. You know, I want this, and then they get it and they go, well, aren't you excited because you got that? Yeah, but not like I thought. We've all been there. It doesn't have to be a humongous situation or thing. We've all been there. We look at things that we want them, and you get them, and then you go, ow, not that great. Thought it was going to be really great. It was the anticipation. It's like on a hunt. It's the excitement of the journey of the hunt. But at the finish, you hunt, you get your prey, and it isn't that big of a deal. But it's during the hunt that's the exciting part. It's the same with us animals, because we are animals, all of us on this planet. It's like women are the hunt. They have the hunt for the man, and that's the exciting part. Once they have the man, it's not that exciting anymore. Same with the man. Man's on the hunt. Okay? And then when the man gets the woman, it's not that exciting anymore. Still it's sparky, but eventually it just kind of goes, shoo. It's not exciting anymore. Just like this. You learn, see, we learn from everything around us. If we're aware. If we're not aware, it just goes by. It's just, oh well, blah. You take a bull, right, male, and you take that male, because the male, you have to have the bull in order to have calves. So you take the bull, and the bull goes through the herd of cows, pregnates cows. This is how the heck most of the time that's how the herd grows. Now, a lot of times you have big herd, you have to take more than one bull, and then all those bulls will go throughout the females, impregnate them. And then you will not be able to get those bulls to go to those same females again. Isn't that interesting? This has been done in research. That male bull will not go to the same female again, no matter what you do. It's the same with a male horse, stud. And you take the stud, and it will go one round with the female. You could sit there with a cattle prod on that horse. It will not go to that female again. It's pretty interesting, isn't it? What was the basic initial creation of man and woman? What is it? What's for this species? What is it for man and woman? To create, to procreate. Some species are both. Okay? So they have a cycle and they get pregnant. And it's not like they have two parents, they just have one. And they don't get with anybody else. They're just androgynous. They're the both in one. Our species, like the majority of species in this quadrant of the galaxy, what we do is that we have female and male, and we have visual, and then the excitement and enthusiasm, and then the sexual attraction, and then the outcome is orgasm, is the reward for impregnation, and then having babies, and the babies replenish the civilization. And it's fun and it's exciting. And it was designed that way by the gods, us, to be in these highly emotional bodies and to enjoy it. But see, unfortunately, as we all know, in a very short period of time, it's been turned into something dirty, bad, negative, pressuring, all that stuff. And it becomes so burdensome that it basically, the men and women aren't as excited about it anymore. So that, what does that do? Then that affects the procreation of babies to replenish the civilization. Quite interesting, isn't it? Now, when you look at the species as a whole, you look at, if you have a gorilla, and you take the male gorilla, that male gorilla, and you have all these female gorillas, okay? Now that male gorilla may go down the line, and it won't become connected to just one female. That male gorilla will make the rounds with all the females. Why is that? So the species can survive. So you have procreation. Now, see, it gets deeper than this, and we won't go into it in this meditation, but it is a knowledge that we have lost as a species. It's a definite knowledge that we've lost. We had the knowledge a long time ago. We know what the reason was why we needed to keep having babies to replenish the civilization. See? And when you look at all the markers that have occurred, and you look at the energy, how it flows, then you know something is amiss. And it's interesting because sex is a great thing. Orgasm's a great thing. It's wonderful. Why would it? See, it's designed that way so that we're drawn to each other. And in most cases, you can't. Two gay men cannot have children themselves. You can't. It doesn't work. That's how it's been designed. You can't buck creation. Same with two women. Now you can go to a sperm bank and have the egg fertilized. The next thing you know, you're pregnant by some man, and then the two women raise the children. But it's the same with men. Do they want children? It gets a little complicated. But we were designed, male and female, so that we could do what? Replenish the civilization. In any species that doesn't remember to do that, ends up where? In extinction. Does that mean the gods won't be able to inhabit life forms? No. It doesn't mean that. But it would sure be a shame for this civilization to vanish. Because we're only getting started. And this is what it all segues into it. It's what we believe across the board. It's not necessarily the truth, but the impact is what you believe. I believe, we all believe. Whatever you believe deeply, you're going to manifest it into your life. So if you believe that the world is going to end, if you believe that everything's going to suck, that it's all going to be bad, you're going to create that for yourself. Does that mean everybody else will have it? No. You will, because that's what you believed. That's why we're so different. We're different, but we're not. Okay? It's mind-boggling. When you look at every face, they're all different. That is mind-boggling. Even identical twins are different. They're subtle, but they're different. All of us are so different. You ever see? You imagine what it would be like if we all looked alike? Really? I mean, all the women looked alike. All the men looked alike. We would become so profusely bored, it would be ridiculous. But during the quiet time of this meditation, in your silent time, embrace the love that you are and embrace that love for everyone else and everything. Join in meditation. I'll return and close this out. Take a slow and easy breath in through the nose. And a slow and easy breath out from the mouth. Remain still, relaxed into your body. Focus on your breath rising and falling. Our lives are a love festival. There is a tremendous celebration happening within our soul. It's like a massive, infinite, long love festival exploding from deep inside our being. Now, you may not recognize the great lover that you are. The mind can pull dark clouds over your eyes, blinding you from seeing the great spiritual sun that's shining so brightly inside you. This great love is much bigger than your mind can conceive. It's beyond thoughts and words, as it is embedded in the light. It's conscious of itself, and is pure consciousness itself. The more you give away, the more love you'll feel flowing within you. So give all your love. Give all your love to you. Come on. Give, and try not to expect anything back in return. Give this great love inside your heart as if there were no more tomorrows. We just never know how much time we have left here. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night and the following morning. And we will return here Friday, April 18, 2025, after 3:15 p.m. Eastern for our Global Guided Meditation Call, and after 9:15 p.m. Eastern to continue our Reverse Aging Health Call. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest, eternal gratitude at all times, no matter what's going on within you nor outside of you. Open your heart and allow the magic to flow in.